Hi everyone, I'm going to be creating the first assignment shortly. It won't be due until after Labor Day, and that will give everyone enough time to be able to get in and do the lab. So what I've already done here is I have clicked on the login to Jones and Bartlett Labs, and I've keyed in my user ID and password. Of course, if you don't have a user ID and password yet, you should have an access code. The access code, if you have the physical book, was on the inside like a scratch off or a peel off, and it's a like a 10-digit character, 10 character number. You should, for the ebook version, you should have gotten a packet or something that would you actually purchased the actual code along with the ebook, as well as if you purchased the book online and you went ahead and just purchased the access code. So you're going to have to redeem the code and then create an account. So you're going to have to do that in order to get a user ID and password to Jones and Bartlett. I've already done that a long time ago, and as a professor, I've had this access code forever. So I'm going to go ahead and log in and show you what happens next. So it's logging me in, and then I've got all sorts of options here. Network security firewalls and VPN. There's another one. Here's hacker techniques, which I taught last term. Um, so I'm going to go ahead and click the first one I've got. Now, I don't know if that's the right course code for this fall, but you're going to see what's going to happen next when I click on it. So here's the deal on this. The redemption of this was May 21st, and this for me is good till May 20th, 2023. So I have to presume that that could be the course code for y'all. I wrote my representative at Jones and Bartlett. I'll find out what she has to say. I'll get back. But if you notice, there are two buttons here, and I hope that you have the same ones. And one would be launch and one would be request course copy. So launch is as if you were doing it without an instructor. I guess you could take this course self-guided or something. I don't know how you would do that, but in any case, to make sure that this works, we'll just click launch. Now, it's going to load up the entire screen of labs. It's going to take a minute or so. Or not. And here we are. So you could follow the before you begin. It's got all sorts of things in it. Here are all the different labs. We will be doing the first lab as lab 1. Now you got to remember there are 10 labs here, and we're only going to be doing 8 for the course. So you have to look very carefully at the name of the lab to get the lab that you're supposed to be doing. Last term I had a student who I said, this is like the 5th lab, but it's lab 7 or something. It wasn't, the number of the sequential number of our labs did not correspond to these because I don't give all 10 of them. But here, when I click on perform reconnaissance and probing, before I click on it, what I want to do is um, it. I want to make sure I'm doing the right thing. So here's the deliverables. Here's the worksheet. But what you really want, I'm going to give you the deliverables, and you don't need to worry about the worksheet. Don't bother clicking on that because the methodology that I'm using for you to submit your work to me has already been described in the document that I created for you, as well as the video I created for you. So I'm going to click on this, and it should come up. It verifies the information, and it tells you, this is what the topology of the lab looks like. So for this lab, there's the unsecure internet. They have a workstation, a virtual workstation 172.30.0.2. And then the router, you've got 2 different servers running off of here, probably in the DMZ, I would guess. There's the Indie router and then a LAN switch. So this is actually a little new. In the past, they didn't really provide the preview lab guide uh, uh, and the topology. So here they have the lab guide. You can actually come up and it tells you what this is new. They didn't do this this summer. and all the different things you can do. In our labs, we're going to be doing section 1 always, and it has multiple parts. And then we're going to be doing section 2 always, and it has multiple parts. Okay. We won't be doing section 3 in any lab. We will always be doing 1 and 2. 1 is hands-on demonstration, which is step by step by step, and 2 is kind of step by step by step, but it's a little more of applied learning. Okay, so that's what we're always going to be doing in this course. We'll always be doing 1 and 2. Okay, so I can close out the lab view. Hang on a second. Leave that and go back to here. And it tells me if I have any active sessions. This is for me as a professor and the students. So you're going to have to, I can actually see who's enrolled in this. And you can see these are the people from this past summer. This is the instance for the summer. So I'm going to have to get the course code for you. But in order to actually start the lab as a student, you just click Start the Lab. And it prepares the lab. So I will say this, they have changed it, the view of this thing since the summer. And it may very well be that you need the course code, but I think you'll be able to launch the lab without it. Uh, and of course, if something happens and you're not able to do it after I sign it, uh, in the methodology I'm explaining without the course code, then of course I would extend the due date for the lab. I'm not going to have you assign something you cannot do. But right now, I think you'll be able to do it without that course code. Um, it's preparing the lab. This takes a little bit because remember, you're connecting to a server somewhere else. You're connecting to Jones and Bartlett's server, and who knows how many students elsewhere are connecting to it as well. Now, one thing I do want to point out, there are two links here, extend it and end it. So I think that what happens here is you can actually extend the work that you're doing on it. Again, this is a new view then that I have not seen before. Okay, so now I'm ready to enter the lab, and I go in here, and it's going to set it up. And the gear runs, and it tells you what's going on, and other user preparing the windows, and it's going to bring up the virtual workspace. So you will be doing your work in this virtual workspace. And then the lab, again, before you begin shows up over here, introduction. It tells you about the lab. I already have that. I copy this into a Word document for you. It gives you the learning objectives, which I do that for you. Also in the overview, what's going on in section 1, 2, and 3. And of course, you're not going to do section 3. The topology, which you just saw anyway. The tools in the software, which are in the Word document that I'm going to provide for you. The deliverables. So a lot of confusion goes on when it says lab report. Okay, so if you remember from the video that I created, okay, the video I created on what I want out of you, the methodology that you are going to use to submit the the information back to me. There is no formal, I'm using air quotes here, lab report. You are going to submit what I want the way I want it. Okay? Now, the screen captures, where it says screen captures of these things, the arrival time for the wireless ICMP traffic, the file name of the attachment, the fisheye bubble chart, those are screen captures I am going to want, and they're going to be in the Word document that I provide to you. So this is nothing different than what I'm asking of you, except in the method or the formatting of the way I want it. And remember, it mentioned that there could be extra files. So here, right here, it says your name underscore S1 underscore zmount.xml. So of course, your name is, that you replace that with your name. Any additional information, but again, lab assessment, that's going to be done online in the assignment as a quiz, which I already explained how that works. Okay, so these things, in section 2, lab report file again, um, the screen captures, those are in the Word document. If they're any different than what's here, what's in the Word document is going to be what's correct. Two more extra files. So again, in this environment, if you're going to have all of, I believe there are 5 images for section 2 and 3 for section 1. So that's 8 images. They would be copied and pasted into a Word file. Then that would be uploaded to the Dropbox, and the 3 Your Name files would be uploaded to the Dropbox also, but those 3 files must be in a zip file. I don't want them separate. Okay. Um, so, pardon me, any questions that I ask of you are going to be in the assignment as a quiz. There is no lab report. I had to explain that to the students this summer, and I think that some didn't fully understand that. They saw the phrase lab report and they got all scared. But indeed, that's not what I'm requesting. I'm requesting you to respond to me in the way that I'm asking you to respond. So let me go back up here, section 1. I'm just going to do a couple of these things. So part 1, connecting to the machine. So here it says on the, double click the connections. Okay. Then in the connections folder, double click the target Windows 02 RDP shortcut, which is going to be this guy. It's connecting to the virtual machine, and you can see it's actually doing that. I'm not going to do the whole lab for you. I don't have time, but I will go through a few steps. Okay, so if prompted, type the following credentials. Double click the shortcut. So RDP shortcut is where? I already did it. Okay, so if prompted, type the following credentials. I wasn't prompted. Um, the IP address is up here, 172.30.0.10 in the title bar. And so if you're prompted, you should do it. I probably was not prompted because I've done this before. On the target Windows 02 taskbar, click the Wireshark. So Wireshark is this tool here to open the Wireshark application. And is a protocol analyzer too called a packet sniffer. And so here's your welcome screen. And what you're going to do is you're going to, if you can maximize it, from the Wireshark menu, click Capture and select Options. So Capture, Options, and Capture Interfaces dialog box. And then in the Capture Interfaces, click on the Manage Interfaces button, which is here. And then in this dialog box, confirm that only student the NPCap loopback adapter interfaces are selected, which they are. You could always make this bigger too, Okay. And the student interface is the network interface for the lab environment that you're working in. Selecting this ensures that Wireshark can analyze traffic from areas of the network that are visible to students. Okay, so verify it, click OK, we're done with that. Then click OK to close this. Sorry, I did that. Click OK. In the capture interfaces, confirm the enable promiscuous mode on all interfaces checkbox is, and it is. That allows Wireshark to capture packets destined to any host. Okay. In the capture, hold down the control key and click the student and NPCap loopback adapter to select both interfaces. So in this, I need to hold down, they're both in promiscuous mode, and click the student and NPCap. Okay, so click the student, and that would be both of these really. Okay, student and the NPCap loopback. And then in the capture filter, type not port. So it's down here, not and it already has it because it remembers me because I've already done this before, to filter out and click start. Boom. Now it's going to start recording from two interfaces, and Wireshark is going to start a packet capture, and hopefully this thing will start capturing packets. But I don't see any traffic yet. In the next steps, you'll generate. So we have to generate the traffic. Okay, that's right. So on Target Windows 2, click the command prompt icon to open up a new command prompt, and here, and then we're going to ping it. So we're going to ping 172.18.0.1 and hit enter to ping the Indie router and begin generating network traffic for Wireshark. And you can see it should get 4 responses and replies, and it did. And when the command prompt appears, type exit, and we should have traffic in the Wireshark window, and we do. Okay, so this is as far as I'm going to go, but you can see how these labs work. And of course, if I wanted to create a screenshot, I could use the snipping tool, and I could ask for a new one, and I could grab all this, and then I've got it. Of course, and so that, and then I could copy and paste that into a Word document. So that's actually how you would do that. So I'm going to call it quits right now. Hopefully this helps, and hopefully you'll be able to go forward with it. Again, when I assign the lab, I'm going to assign it so the due date is after Labor Day, which should give everybody enough time to get this done. And I'll be assigning that shortly, as quickly as I can. And I hope that this helped you out. I'll be publishing this up online first, and then I'll go assign the assignment.